So, good afternoon. My name is Alex Kinch, and CEO and founder of a company called Ziron. We're going to be talking this afternoon a little bit about SMS for voice people. And I guess most of you people in the room, know quite a lot about voice, which is why you're here. Maybe a little bit less about SMS, apart from maybe used it for day-to-day communication. Hopefully, within the next sort of half an hour or so, I would have demystified a lot of it and given you some examples of how you can use SMS in your business, how you can benefit from it. And also, I've agreed to do a live demo. So this could go one of two ways. Either it could go badly wrong or exceptionally badly wrong. So we'll see. Anyway, so about Ziron. We're a next-generation global wholesale voice and messaging carrier, which is a bit of a mouthful. And this is my first time in the Bay Area, and I know a lot of people do comparisons. So they say it's like Uber for this or Grindr for that. So I guess we're kind of like, if you took Twilio and then made it wholesale only and made it a telco. So basically, we're creating a telco from the ground up that purely does wholesale. So we've got licenses, etc. In Europe, North America, Asia Pacific. So we're currently in 6 countries: UK, Ireland, US and Canada, and Australia and New Zealand. We have a team of 7 or 8 people now. I lose track because we move so fast. We've got a team based in the UK, where I'm from, in the US and Australia as well. And currently on our platform, we offer voice and SMS-enabled DIDs. We do outbound SMS and also something called number lookup, which I will come back to shortly. So just a very, very little bit about me. I've been in IP networks and mobile for nearly 20 years now. Feels a lot longer sometimes. I've been involved in voice since 1997. In fact, I failed my geography exams and learned all I know about where countries are in the world from reading rate sheets. It's that bad. I built my first SMS service in 1998, founded the LonApp Internet Exchange Point in London, which is the second biggest exchange point in the UK. Obviously, I'm English, I like tea, and I like complaining about the weather, which if you spend enough time with me, you'll hear lots of that. So, without further ado, a little bit of history about SMS. I'll skip through this quickly. There was a guy called Friedhelm Hillebrand. What a name. In 1984, he actually did a study and concluded that a lot of conversation could actually happen within a certain number of words and a certain number of sentences, and he concluded that it would actually fit in 160 characters, which is kind of curious. Back in 1984, obviously SMS hadn't been invented, but then, this comes into play a little bit later on. 1992, this is the world's first SMS-capable handset. Isn't it pretty? And I bet it had a really good battery life too. So that was launched in Germany, 1992. December 1992, there's a guy called Neil Papworth. He sent the first SMS. He sent it to his colleague. Unfortunately, his colleague couldn't reply because the phone wasn't actually SMS capable. He sent that the message was Merry Christmas. 1998, we come across the first what we call application to personal, 8P SMS, and I'll come back and explain what that is a little bit later on. But it was by Vodafone in the UK. They launched a share price alert system, so that's possibly the first automated SMS service. 1995, hands up here who's got iOS 8 on the iPhone, and hands up who doesn't really like the new predictive text. Okay, cool. So that's not just me. So predictive text goes back to a company called Tegic. They invented predictive text in 1995. They were acquired by AOL in 1999, acquired by Nuance in 2007. They're still around doing a lot of good stuff. 1999 was really when SMS began to take off, because until then, you could send, say for instance, you were on AT&T and your friend was on, I don't know, let's say Sprint. You couldn't text between the two networks. Same in the UK between, let's say, Vodafone and O2. You could only text to someone if they were on the same network, which is about as much use as a chocolate teapot, in fairness. So in 1999, the operators went, hey, hang on a second, let's actually let people talk to each other across networks. This might be something that they want. Suddenly, everything started taking off. So we hit 2002, 250 billion SMSs were sent around the world in 2002, which is quite a lot. Fast forward to 2006, right here in San Francisco. Twitter was originally an SMS-based social network. Things have moved on a lot since then, but that's where they first started. 2007, SMS usage surpasses calls. So Nielsen did a survey and they found out that the number of texts sent in a month surpassed the number of monthly phone calls placed by Americans for the first time ever. 2008, Barack Obama announced his running mate via SMS, possibly one of the biggest, most well-known SMS announcements. 2010, we're now up to 200,000 text messages every minute, 6.1 trillion worldwide over an entire year. So I just wanted to share a few numbers with you. 254,000, 664,000. Any guesses what that is? Sorry? That's absolutely correct. If someone said the average tech Bay Area salary, you were kind of close, I guess, but yeah, every minute 2013, SMS generated $254,664 of revenue worldwide for mobile operators, which is an awful lot. How about 8.3 trillion? Any guesses? Correct, yeah, by 2015. Well done, that man. So 8.3 trillion messages a year are expected by 2015. Now, if you're not very good at maths like me, and I'm sure you guys are because you're all very clever and you're all in this room, that's how many zeros there are on that. So it's quite a lot. 6.5 billion. Any guesses on that one? Not. Yeah, that's more likely. Yeah, 6.5 billion messages every single day just in North America. So it's pretty safe to conclude that SMS is not dead. Far from it. You know, you've got services like WhatsApp, Viber, iMessage, BBM. We all use it all the time. Of course, person-to-person SMS will decline. So me texting you, you texting me, yeah, we'll use iMessage, we'll use WhatsApp. But application-to-person SMS, and this is what I'm going to talk about in a minute, is really, really on the increase. So A to P versus P to P. You may have heard about this if you've, if you've ever used services like Twilio, and they talk about P to P SMS DIDs. So person-to-person is pretty much what it says on the tin. I text you, you text me. It's person-to-person. Now, if you interact with an automatic system, so for instance, you send a text, you get something back, or someone sends you a text, and it's an automatic system, that's application to person. Now, big disclaimer here. I am not a lawyer. You should seek your own independent advice on this. However, in the US, long numbers, which we offer as a company, Twilio offer, lots of people offer that are SMS enabled, they are not supposed to be used for automated services, really. The CTIA are a little bit cross about that. Like I said, I'm not a lawyer, so you really should seek your own advice. The CTIA actually say that application-to-person messaging, and especially marketing, has to be via short codes. But with that caveat, let's just move on for a second. So what's A to P used for? Well, here's a great use of it, two-factor authentication. You've got Google, Twitter, Dropbox. Yes, you can use an app that's on your phone that generates a one-time code. But a lot of times you can actually use SMS as well, and you'll receive that message with a 6-digit code via SMS. Banking, sorry, just skipped forward a bit there. Banking is another very popular one. So my bank sends me a little mini statement of everything that I've spent, in the last sort of 10 transactions once a day, which is really, really helpful. Some banks offer balance updates, so if you've made a purchase, they'll send you a message saying you've just bought this, your balance is this. Credit cards. So a lot of credit card issuers have got very, very, very clever behavioural-based fraud detection systems. But what happens when they actually detect something? So in the case of my bank, they wait 10 or 12 hours and then they call me at 10:30 a.m. in the UK, which is 2:30 a.m. in San Francisco time, which is very, very kind. Thanks, guys. Now, if I was an Amex customer, apparently, I'd have an interaction like this. So they would text me and say, hey, there's a transaction we don't recognize, we've declined it. If you'd like to retry, just reply with one. So if they're using an SMS-enabled shortcode here, this is an example from the UK. You can just reply and go retry the transaction and everything's real time. Now, talking about location services, and especially about anti-fraud as we were just now, there's an increasing amount of usage of mobile subscriber data to detect suspicious transactions. So, most of us here carry our mobiles with us at all times, pretty much. Now, card authorization comes in from, let's say, my hotel here in San Francisco. Where's my mobile? It's in the US. Cool, that's fine. Card transaction request comes in from Barbados, withdrawing cash on my credit card. Where's Alex's mobile phone? It's in the US. This doesn't look good. So banks, credit card issuers are starting to use mobile subscriber information to actually work out the location of the cardholder and make a fraud-based decision from there. Another one, healthcare reminders in the UK, the beloved National Health Service that we're also fond of complaining about. They send out texts with doctors' appointment reminders, dentist reminders, etc., etc. And apparently it has reduced missed patient appointments down to virtually zero, which is fantastic. If you've got a SMS-enabled DID that you're sending the message from, you can reply, confirm, cancel, reschedule, etc. This was an example. I went to KazooCon in August in Chicago. This was an example from the hotel there. I could actually get room service via SMS, which is pretty neat. So I could text a number and say, look, here's my room number, here's my last name. Please help me with this. Another quick example, deliveries. Hands up here who uses Amazon Prime. Cool, lots of people, okay. So in the UK, a lot of time you actually have to sign for the Prime delivery. For liability insurance purposes, etc. And they have a nasty habit of delivering at any time between 8 a.m. and 8 p.m. and you go out for 5 minutes and you've missed the parcel. So Prime, Amazon even are beginning to start sending texts out saying your delivery is due between this time and that time. You can reply saying I'd like it left with a neighbour or rescheduled for tomorrow. Anyway, so let's move on to the technology. And this is a lot to take in, so I'm just going to do a very, very sort of, skim over the technology. Now, SMS was originally defined in a GSM recommendation called 0.340, which is now called 3GPP 23.040. If you ever suffer from insomnia, I highly recommend it. It's fascinating reading. Your head will hit the pillow within 5 minutes of starting. SMS is traditionally a store and forward service, so messages are sent from a handset or an application to a sort message service center, or SMSC. They're then forwarded onto the recipient's handset when available. If they're not, the SMSC will put it into a queue. It will keep retrying for 20, 30 minutes, then an hour, then every 2 hours, and etc., etc., etc. And it would also try and subscribe to a notification, so when the handset switches on, it will push the message through. Try up to normally 72 hours. So a few acronyms, a bit of acronym soup. That's telecoms anyway, but A to P, we've covered that, application to person. P to P, person to person. MSISDN, mobile station international subscriber identity number. We also know it as a long code, a long number, DID. It's basically an E164 telephone number. It makes the world go round in the world of mobile, especially with SMS. MCC and MNC, you'll get to see this a little bit more when you start doing intelligent routing for SMS. Mobile country code, mobile network code. It's 5 or 6 digits depending where you are. The first 3 digits tell you which country it is. The next 2 or 3 digits tell you which mobile operator it is. Those two actually make up an IMSI. So, if next time you actually find out what your IMSI is, and it's not always easy, part of that will actually, the first 5 or 6 digits will be your operating the country that issued that IMSI and your home subscription. DLR, delivery report, not so much supported in the US at the moment. There's some issues with that there, but the rest of the world you can pretty much tell when a message has reached the handset and you'll get a successful confirmation back. And MAP, the whole of SMS works on the SS7 mobile application part. Again, fantastic bedtime reading if you ever have insomnia. There's always the saying that people that know lots about SS7 generally don't go to parties. So, as I said, it uses MAP. There's a couple of commands that we're really interested in here. Send routing information for short message and forward short message. Basically, on the SS7 map layer, it's a 140 octet message payload, which conveniently translates to 160 characters in most cases, which we'll come back to in a second. So assuming the messages come from our handset to an SMSC, they do what's called an SRI request, which is send routing information. Goes to the recipient subscriber home location register, which is a big database. And it says, okay, where can I find this subscriber? Where's Alex's phone at the moment? Which mobile switching center is it on? How can I address it? So it gets that information from there. So, but how do we know which HLR to go to? Well, there's something called an STP, signaling transfer point. You kind of think about it like a router for the SS7 world. It's got a lookup table on it. It translates mobile numbers. So my mobile number begins with 447838 in the E164 format. It'll translate that onto a global title address, again an E164 number, of the HLR of 447782, etc., etc. These lookup tables are populated by way of a GSM association document called an IR21, which is almost like a directory that the mobile operators push around to each other. And they say, right, this number range I'm authoritative for on this global title address, this mobile range on this one, etc., etc. It doesn't always work very well, unfortunately, so you do get some mismatches with routing internationally, but generally that's the way things work. So Ziron, we offer as one of our services SMS. We also do voice as well, but our SMS services you can interface two ways, actually two different services. For inbound SMS, so receiving SMS on DIDs, you can receive via HTTP or HTTPS webhook into your application. You can receive via email, which is absolutely perfect in most cases for enterprise applications, because someone wants to receive a message and do something with it, like a real estate agent. It'll just go straight to email. They can pick it up, read it, do something with it, call the sender, etc. We started supporting the SIP message as well as an endpoint, so we can actually push messages into Asterisk or FreeSwitch or Kazoo, anything that supports SIP message, and then do something with it once it gets in there. We're going to support SMPP from next year. I believe that's on the Kazoo development map as well. It's a protocol mainly for sort of high throughput SMS, really. On the outbound SMS side, again, REST API. SIP message is coming soon, and SMPP also is coming soon. This is the point where I die a slow, painful, horrible death on stage, because I've agreed to do a live demo, and I blame many people for this. Yeah, that man over there who's raising his hand, thank you. I blame a few people for this. I shan't mention names. So I'm going to try and show you how to. We're going to go for the whole sort of the whole process of purchasing a number, setting it up, putting an SMS service on it, putting a voice service on it, and then we'll put the number up on the screen, and all of you guys can text or call it, and hopefully it will work. He says hopefully. So if it doesn't, please bear with me. So we've got a lot of APIs. We love APIs. An awful lot of them. Today we're just going to concentrate on three of them: endpoints, messages, and numbering. If you're interested in reading the API documentation, that's the URL. So earlier on, I wrote what could possibly be described as the worst piece of code ever. It is literally quick and dirty hack of an SMS autoresponder. One of my guys back in the UK looked at my code and started having kittens and started reformatting it because my syntax is all over the place. But that is a very simple SMS autoresponder. We've got a PHP API library, which is the links there. So I kind of wrote that, really. So that will actually respond to the SMS that we'll be sending our long number with a response. So what we're going to do first is we're going to set up an SMS and voice number. We're going to then purchase a number. We're going to create some SMS and voice endpoints, and then we're going to attach them. And then hopefully we can call it. So just bear with me 1 second as we try and get this working. Let's have a look. We're going that way, we're going that way. There we go. Perfect. Right then, bear with me 1 second. So I now can't see anything on the screen in front of me, which is just perfect. So I'm going to try and do this facing the audience at the same time as facing the screen. So this is a few things we've set up for our APIs. So what I'm going to do here, I want to get a San Francisco number. Okay. So It's a long list. We're going to get all the numbers available in California. So there's a very, 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 very long list. So our API has returned all the areas in California that we do numbering for. Long, long, long list. Fortunately, I've got a shortcut here. So what we're going to do is we're going to purchase a number in San Francisco. There we go. So we have that number there, which I am going to cut and paste. Hopefully. Bear me 1 second. I'll cut and paste into there for later. Righty-ho. So we purchased our number. Now, where are we now? Right. So what you would normally do is you would actually attach a number to an endpoint. So I've shortcutted this process. What I've done is I've created a couple of endpoints here. So we've got a voice endpoint and we've got an SMS endpoint. The voice endpoint is just a normal SIP URI. The SMS endpoint is using our webhook onto my quick and dirty horrible script that will probably fail at this point. And what I've done in our platform is I've actually set these endpoints as default. So as soon as I purchase this number, it should, in theory, automatically attach. It can take up to 60 seconds. So it would hopefully have attached the endpoints to this number by now. Right, 1 second. So I cut and paste. What I would normally do, right, if I get assigned numbers, so let's have a look at the number we just bought. Ah, that's useful, I've got 2 on there. Right, 6483 then. Alright, so it's that one there. So I'm gonna, just for purposes of demonstration, and that doesn't have anything, oh no, hang on. Sorry, things are always a bit different when you practice it in the comfort of your hotel room and then you get up onto a stage and everything looks a little bit different. So, hopefully a bit of luck and a following wind. Right, so this is our number, right. So these endpoints have attached, okay? So, hopefully now, I'm going to just for the purpose of the demonstration, I'm just going to actually call to make sure it's routed, okay? Sorry, bear with me 1 second. It can take up to 60 seconds to root, unfortunately, so that's something we're trying to get reduced. But sometimes we're at the mercy of the carriers and stuff that we work with. Righty-ho. Okay, that works. So, live demonstration time. If you all grab your phones, this is optional, this is not mandatory, but there's a bit of fun. Grab your phone and either send a text or call that number. See what happens. I guess I should have done something clever and said, right, anybody whose birthday's between January and April, text it. Anybody who's, yeah. So hands up who's calling and who's texting. No, that wouldn't work, would it? Who's texted? Who's got a response? No one so far. This is a bad start. Who's called it? And what did you get? On hold music? Any particular on hold music? Yeah? Oh. Barry Manilow? Oh. You can't do a live demonstration without Rick Astley. So if you text it, hopefully, it would have actually returned the lyrics to Never Gonna Give You Up by Rick Astley. It's my quick and dirty demonstration of voice and SMS. So that's pretty much it. Thank you for bearing with me while the live demonstration went not badly. Hopefully the SMS will kick in shortly. It can take a couple of minutes, but that's pretty much the end of my presentation. Any questions? Sorry, why is SMS DLR available and not available in the US? Originally I thought it was a privacy thing, but it seems to be a limitation of carriers. Carriers just don't send the final delivery reports back. Some of that does seem to be the way that carriers talk to each other. You know, in the rest of the world, carriers traditionally like sending SMS over SS7. In the US, some of it happens over SMTP and other weird protocols, so I think there might be just a limitation. Some carriers support it, some don't, but generally we just say it's not available, which is a pain, but, you know, this is life, unfortunately. Hopefully they'll improve some. Oh, by the way, if you would like to sign up, shameless plug, the details are there. You'll get $5 of free credit to test the service. If you need more, just give me a shout. My contact details on there. And any other questions? No? Okay, thank you very much.